That is good banter.
Right, welcome to the Patreon, the Good Banter Patreon. Thanks to all the Bantitos who have tuned in. We're here, Tommy.
We are
Timmy.
here, and look, we can't really fuck around because we don't have long on the memory card. So we normally do a bit of a spiel, and
Well, I think we made it through the last one with Matt O'Neill. We had about 40 minutes on the memory card. We've got about 37, so a few issues there, but I'll sort that out. I bought a memory card today that was about fucking 256 gigabytes or something. I thought that should do the job, but it's not reading it for some reason.
wasn't
So,
compatible.
mate, if we get this Patreon cooking, we'll be able to get a decent sound bloke.
That's the goal. But we've only got 37 minutes, but we could talk to this our guest today for 37 hours. And we're both. Evan and I are big fans. We've been laughing during the week, sending each other videos of yours. We have the one and only Goccsy.
Goccsy, Aaron Gocs.
Thanks, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm finally here. I was
That's one of the other reasons we don't have long either, because Goccsy was running a bit late, but that's all right.
road
You're here.
trip from hell. You know, everything that could happen happened.
Oh, mate, mate, I was getting fucking anxiety.
Oh.
You explaining it to me, and you run through it in a sec. But for me, one of my favourite things about you is I think a lot of people in comedy it's a character. They're playing a character. You know what I mean? Like for example, I haven't done a heap with him, but Arndo, I've heard a few people go, "Oh, he plays this fucking bogan, mate. He's a fucking genius. He's a lawyer, and he's a completely different person on stage." And mate, you are just fucking.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not a good thing.
No, mate.
I live this shit.
Yeah,
you know.
It cracks me up, like seeing the stuff you put online, like just out of the blue, you'll say, "Oh, I wouldn't mind playing rugby on the weekend," and then you'll just see footage of you fucking running into a pack in rugby and playing local cricket. But
No, I know fully well what you're talking about, and I wish that was the case. I'd love it for this to be a character, but this is just my life. Yeah.
so just run us through, and like just today.
But that's the thing, because people see you everywhere, and in their mind, they're thinking like
Private
limos,
jet,
chauffeurs,
limo.
private jet.
Yeah.
I'm just driving myself everywhere, and I was just talking to you boys off camera or whatever about genuine tips on how to be more professional, because, and obvious things like leaving a bit earlier, that haven't struck me. But so yesterday I was late because of this bloody 2 or 3 hour traffic near Gosford in Sydney.
So this has been your tour though. You left Brisbane for a gig on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
That's okay.
Then I slept in my car for a few hours.
Yep.
Headed off because I was due in Wagga Wagga yesterday. Everything was going all right. Left real early, and then just hit terrible traffic near Central Coast Sydney, Gosford area. Just stuck for 3 hours. So I'm late for the Wagga gig. Miss out on that gig, and then this morning.
Was he? What was the guy like when you turned up?
Oh, they were just like, everyone's left. We can't have you on.
So what time? And what were you doing there?
It wasn't an actual like performance. It was going to be like a general appearance sort of thing. Like there was some games on. We did some actually did some cornhole. Cornhole. It's kind of like it's a different version of. There's about 1 million different like bowling type games.
So it's like when a porn star or something goes to a club or something. Yeah. You're a bit like that.
Except no one watches my sex videos, but not willingly. Anyway, I do instant. What do you call it? Like private message people. I was gonna say instant message. Private message people like, watch this. And like, I'm right. But and so then today, they did actually give me accommodation, which was nice.
Well, they couldn't take that from you.
Yeah. Well, it was a little too nice because I'm so used to like sleeping in my car and shitty and like couches and stuff.
So they gave you a bus.
I did the full big sleep in. I woke up at like 12. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to go.
Jesus.
And everything was going all right until. So I've gone from Wagga Wagga to get on the like Hume Highway to Melbourne, and I've gone the wrong way. And so about half an hour into it, which doesn't sound long. But I'm starting to see, when it says upcoming towns, and the last one is Sydney. Yeah. And I'm thinking, no, that's not right.
I don't want to go
so
there.
I pulled over put him on my map, Melbourne, and then he said, "Yeah, do a U-turn." So because it was half an hour, but you double that because
double it.
Yes.
So you've lost that half hour. Plus, you got to go back.
Plus, you got the other half hour where you question
would've
who
had,
you
yeah.
are
Yeah,
and
yeah,
what
yeah,
you're doing with your life.
Yeah. So
it's a kick in the gut.
this is what I say. People are always positive, which you got to admit it's a good trait to have.
Yeah.
And people always like, oh, there's a story in that.
Yeah.
But I prefer the alternative life where I don't fuck things up. Like, that's what people always like. Oh man, you've had a heartbreaking relationship breakup, devastation. Oh, you get a story in that. I'm like, I'd much rather just not have the pain. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like there's things I'm always trying to get better. Like to my credit, I'm not happy about it, but
Yeah. So was the guy pissed or was he? Because I fucking hate dealing with shit like that.
Yeah. I think like they weren't happy, but
So how late were you?
it wasn't an exact start, but we were aiming for like 7, and I got there at like 10. So it's 3 hours.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a little late.
There wasn't many. Like I was interacting with my friend Dane Simpson, who set it up.
Yeah.
And he was like, which was great of him trying to keep this thing alive.
He's coming.
Yeah.
He's coming.
And he was like, if you get here, we'll try and see what we can do. But there wasn't many people there. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh well, lesson. Lesson learned.
But I'm here. That's the main. This is the main part of the tour.
Yeah, this is the big finale, mate.
Yeah.
So
so from here, so you do tonight's gig. So we're at the Bayswater Cricket Club.
Park.
Bayswater Park.
Sharks.
The Sharks.
Yeah, the Sharks.
Is there many sharks in this area? Oh, really?
So. Oh, okay.
Dolphin.
That's something.
He's a bit lost.
Were they all? Yeah. I was going to say, was that assisted by some substances?
It might have been, yeah.
No, lizards coming down the wall.
And then, and from here you're driving. So we've talked about hellish road trips, Evan and I. But so from here you're driving from Melbourne back to fucking Brisbane.
Yeah, that's the part I didn't really plan much for. But yeah,
Jesus, yeah.
But I've hit the road a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a real road dog. But,
you always here, there, and all over the joint.
But, you'd think I'd get better, but no. But like there's, like I said, the traffic, you can't help that. You just got to leave earlier.
Yeah.
So I first came across you with I'm sure how a lot of people did with that sketch. Oh God, what was
the
it?
Classic stitch
the
up.
Classic stitch up. So
that gave me a bit of a launch. Yeah.
And what was the idea? How'd you come up with that?
So I was just working.
And I can't believe you're late when you've got your watch fucking tattooed on your fucking arm.
Well,
You've got no excuse.
You know, that's one of these things where I'm like, people. If it's mates like this, I don't mind talking about it, but you do get a little bit annoyed by people like.
Me.
But then it's one of those things too. I've got to realize I did it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like when people with a face or neck tat are upset that you're looking at them.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you looking at, mate? Well, you got a big tattoo on your neck.
Or the girl with the giant implants and they're hanging out and have a go at someone for staring. You're like, well, Jesus.
You did that. You realise you
created
put those
that, and
boobs
for the sole purpose to turn heads. Yes, you've turned heads.
These are my big boobs. You know? But so stitch up. That was an actual thing at work. Someone did. So, I'd like to say I've got this really creative mind, but I don't. I just retell actual things that happen. But I guess the real artistry is in the retelling, though.
But the genuineness of it was because I don't think most people would have thought this is just some guy on a job site.
Yeah.
And it was so relatable to so many blokes on job. I've worked on job sites. And it was just something where people go, oh, that is...
Yeah.
It's classic.
Like, being serious here, I muck around a bit about, nothing in it. But you do need to know in life what is separate what's funny from what's not.
Yeah.
Well, exactly like you said, that was from the previous 20 years of labouring and whatever. It's all built up to that. Forget about the $15 per hour. That was just it. But
had you done sketches before that just hadn't hit, or was that just the first one that just?
That's the amazing thing that showed how powerful like social media and things are, because I just put it up in the morning.
Yeah.
didn't have much of a following, had a very small cult sort of following, and just from people sharing to mates, it blew up. And I was genuinely went back to work. So the thing happened like Friday at work. Yeah. So had the weekend. It'd been stewing over my mind, like what to do, and also how to put it. And I did a quick script, but not much. I quickly wrote it down. Yeah. And then Monday morning, just before work, I quickly put it up, and then I was like, even had to leave for work, and I was a few minutes late, but put it up, and then got to work, and then the internet's doing its thing in that time. Yeah. And my shift was, I can't remember, 8 hours, 9, whatever. But by the end of it, even people at work who didn't know I did comedy or anything were like, "Oh, is this you?" And they're showing me, and they're like, and they're like, "Oh, you're talking about like Marty, the bloke from work, So it is very powerful, But and then I'm like, "Oh fuck, can I quit this job yet?"
That is good banter.
Somebody at work today got stitched up. It brought us all together. It was amazing, I'll tell you what happened. It was Marty, right? Like Dave on the forklift. He said, Marty, Phil's the boss, right? He said, Phil in the office, he wants you. So Marty's like, oh, what does Phil want? Marty's walked up to the office, gone there, asked Phil, what do you want? Phil says, I don't want you. It's a bloody stitch up. Dave sent him along. Phil didn't even want him. We're all standing back together watching. It cracked us up. It's a classic stitch up, but I'll tell you what, it brought us all together. Before that, there was a bit of tension. A few guys had been making a few mistakes. We had to get a few orders out on time. It was a lot of tension in the warehouse, but when Dave laid the stitch up on Marty, mate, brought us all together. You can't beat a classic stitch up, I reckon. I think, everyone's give it a crack, have a stitch up. I reckon this country was built on stitch ups, It's what makes us who we are.
And so what, because there's so many people put stuff out and they think, oh, this will go viral. And sometimes you can put so much work into a sketch. Yeah. I think it's like 200 views or something. Like, at what point and what year was it?
And people like study filmmaking. Oh. And I'm like, I didn't know what to do with editing or anything. I don't watch it, but you can see me switching it off.
Yeah, well, I think that's why it's so relatable, because someone goes, this is just some guy who, for those people who don't know, this is just some guy who's on a job site. He's the everyday man. Yeah. That probably makes it more realistic and relatable. Yeah. So what year was that?
Oh, going back a while now, mate. I think it was like 2015 or 16. Yeah. It's a bit blurry, a lot of things in life. I like to clump things into 3 or 4 year errors. Yeah. It's like 09 to 11. But I've got that era down as 15 to 16 in my mind. Yeah. But it was interesting because I'd been doing comedy for quite a while. It was like 2008 I started stand up, and then never did any skits or anything. Before that I'd started putting up a few things just from that mindset of because I was like doing, I don't know, I'm not saying you guys did, but I know there's a common thing to like Sook and be like, why am I not famous yet? Where's my sitcom? And then it becomes, you realise, no, fuck you make the effort to put stuff out.
Well, it's a numbers game. You don't know what's going to land. You throw enough shit and some of it's going to stick. Yeah.
And first you're waiting for that knock on the door. Like, here's your sitcom, and it doesn't happen. Nah. So you got to put shit out. So I was like, all right. And then, I believed in myself that I was a funny guy, but it was great, reassuring to show that. Because being from Brizzy too, gigs can be quite tough there. I'm sure there's tough gigs everywhere, but we've always looked at down south as better, cooler gigs and stuff.
Oh well, I'm good, thanks.
Good, yeah.
One.
Get Goccsy one. Yeah,
cheers.
It'll make the show better.
Well, Brisbane, we used to go up there and do the little tour, sit-down tour, and it was notoriously, you'd be in the corner at pokies venues,
Yeah.
which you weren't getting in
I
any
know
other
you guys
state.
liked it in terms of it's guaranteed pay, but it's in terms
It was
of
hard, Jacker.
it's
yeah.
not. It doesn't really treat it as an art or.
Oh, no.
I don't know, it's a bit. What do you call it? Fucking
Wanky.
No,
wanky to say
Yeah,
art, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
true. It's like you created something, and you going on stage performing, and people are playing pokies and shit.
Yeah.
But so I'd been at it for a while, and then it was really reassuring because you go from
Yeah.
thanks, mate. You go from like doing it and no one really cares until now. It just shows in what you're doing, it's legit.
It gives you a bit of hope.
That's it,
And
exactly,
you're like, oh yeah, there's.
And that's when I was like, all right, I got to start trying to tour and stuff and make the effort to go to towns and try and get there on time.
Yeah. And so, sorry, you go.
No, I was just going to say, and from there, and we'll do links to all the stuff we're talking about on the Patreon. How did that then turn into Ocean Girl, which and that what's the high one?
Summer High,
Summer High, which is the fucking hands down the funniest shit I've ever
Heartbreak
seen.
High,
Heartbreak High, yeah.
Let's get it right, mate. No,
sorry, no,
I'm joking.
He's an artist, mate.
It's all a blur, mate.
Yeah.
Well, so like I said, being from Brizzy, and I'd always had that like kind of it's a bit silly now to look back, but there's always that like bigger city, more things are happening. So I always had that dream to come down and being into footy and stuff too. Like Melbourne's the Mecca or whatever. Now you find out it's nothing. But no, I'm joking. But you mature and your views change. But that's how I was when I was younger. Like I always had my sights set on Melbourne. But having 2 young kids made it hard to move. But eventually I got to a position where I was able to and came down. And so there was a few over the years. You just meet comics from gigging and stuff and hanging out. And there was a group who they were ex stand-ups, but they just got it into like production and stuff. So I started working with them, and that's how those.
Is that the Hot Dad? The Hot Dad
that's
boys?
right. Yeah.
So who's in Hot Dad? Is that...
So John Campbell, he's done a lot of writing. Yep. They all used to do stand-up, but
they used to do sketch at the festival and that.
Yeah,
didn't they?
Jay Morrissey's another one, and his partner Lisa Feinberg. So they're the 3 main ones, and then.
That is good banter.
Previously on Ocean Girl.
The environment is my biggest friend.
Ocean Girl, come quick! The baby boomers are destroying the environment!
Thank you so much for letting me stay in your pool, Ocean Girl. I love you. You're my hero.
Jeez Louise, the big exam's coming up. If I can't get a good grade, then I'll be grounded. And I won't be able to protect the environment. Jeez Louise.
Another perfect day, wouldn't you say, Ocean Girl?
Yep. Nothing better than a good day outside in nature's ecosystem.
Hey, maybe we can pick up some rubbish on the beach later.
I can't. I'm meeting my older boyfriend. He's a manager at McDonald's.
Ocean Girl, are you sure you're ready for an older boyfriend?
Just can't help myself. He's just so dreamy. Oh, look, here he is now.
Ocean Girl, let's get out of here, babe.
They've just got a group of like camera people.
Are they doing the Amy War?
You're in that. You're in that, aren't you?
Is that an actual movie?
Yeah. And the funny thing about that is, so we've finished ours. We're like the lower budget one, but there's this big one that's So a lot of people, it's kind of that situation when there's 2 come out at once. Like Ants and Bugs Life.
Yeah. So it's
another one is you guys might be like 90s kid like me, like Armageddon and I think whatever the other comic one was.
Yeah.
But so the other one's got, I don't want to promote it, but it's got like John Cleese and
so good.
Rob Schneider.
No, so good.
Watch ours if anything.
Yeah. It. But how crazy that such an obscure thing and 2 movies have come out, but I think they're on such different angles. Yours just looks insane.
Yeah.
Fuck, yours looks funny.
Thanks, mate. Well, I'm really excited.
So is it a movie or is it just that preview?
I don't think it's a movie in that it's one thing.
Yep.
but there is that kind of movie length. But I think it's going to be a series of
Okay,
Yeah,
just
great.
But there's a let's just call it a movie. There's about an hour and a half's worth of.
You're a movie star.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
when does that come out? That looks amazing.
Yeah, no exact date yet, but it's in the next coming months. It's pretty exciting.
Online or cinemas?
I think it's going on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
Mate,
I'd like it to be.
it looks, mate, it looks
I might just
hilarious.
buy rent a cinema myself and put it on.
Yeah,
do a
yeah.
Have a
screening.
premiere. Yeah.
That'd be good.
But genuinely excited about because it's got like action and stuff too, which I love Aussie comedy. But one thing I will say is there hasn't been a lot of action comedy. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I love things like The Castle, and then after that there was a lot of trying to replicate that, like feel good buddy sort of, which is fine. But you haven't really seen guys like me running with the Rambo bullets. I like to do the like running through creek beds and the funny thing about that is we use this property, Jay's parents' property out near Bendigo, little town called Axdale, and so we're running through these dry creek beds at the time, and then it got all flooded in the floods. Which isn't a nice story or anything, but it just shows
200 people died. It was,
It's a story.
It's just interesting that a creek can be dry and then flooded. You know? Crazy how things...
What's the deal?
What's the deal with weather?
That is good banter.
I tell you what, fellas, after we're done finding these emus, we're gonna get married.
The good thing about our relationship is the loyalty that we have.
We have bad news, Private. Your wife's been identified as a spy working for the emus.
You're wrong. You're so wrong.
And so from you go the classic stitch up. When did you realise you just had people sort of hitting you up going, Goccsy, come here. Because you do a heap of private stuff.
It's obviously, like I said, it's powerful social media, like passing around, but then it really hits you when it's like people are like, oh, look at this, I got a tattoo, and you know, I wouldn't have done that. You know, people are showing me classic stitch up tattoos, and you know, people sending me like anytime it gets
cock
mentioned,
shots.
and I think because it was an actual saying, but it was more like 80s, died off, and people were acting like I made it up. They're like, someone said it on the footy show, and I'm like, you know, it is an actual. It's like contacting someone going like, oh man. This people mention beer or something.
You know, said g'day, mate.
Yeah. But it's fun. But like, it did. Everything changed because it was like, all right, like I said, going on tour. Like, what can I do with this? And like, I started putting out merch, which was crazy. You know, like t-shirts and stuff. But it's like, the funny thing about that stuff, the first time you do those. It's the novelty, isn't it? The merch. Like, I can't believe someone wants my face or my name on it.
Yeah.
And then when that wears off, it's just like, just become a business. It's the reality of it, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
So how are you with and like I'm 1,000 miles from famous, but every now and again, like just the other day, I was out with my kids and a guy at a shopping centre. We were just waiting for our grilled, and a guy goes, "Oh mate, you're the suburban footballer," and comes up and talk. And I feel because there's so few of them. That anyone with any interest, I feel like I've got to drive the guy home and invite him to my house. You know, I just feel like I've got to dedicate. So how are you? Because you would get a lot. Cause it's
funny because like people close to you then start judging you by how you react to them. I've had my kids or my partner say like, "Well, why didn't you give them something?" Because they'll be like, "Oh, hey, Gocs, how you going?" And I'll never try and be outright rude.
Yeah.
But it's hard to be like, how are you? You know, like, I'll just give them genuine how I feel. And just be like, hey, mate, how are you?
You've got other stuff you're thinking, I've got herpes.
But then my partner or whatever will be like, that person loved you. Why didn't you, like, give it? And it's just hard. But you know, it's also, and there's it's like anything, there's some fantastic people too. And you get that small percent that are real punishers. Like, one I struggle with, and if anyone's watching, please don't do this. It's just like coming too much into your bubble, you know? Like,
well, it's when they're pissed as far. I mean, it's just I don't think anyone sober is a judge.
That's why my reaction is to just sort of myself, like bring myself back. There's only a very small few times I've had to go like
address
it. Just go, listen, you're getting too You know, because I won't do it, but I've had people just like fucking punch. And,
Hey, Goccsy.
and it hurts. Like,
because
I've played a bit of sports. I'm like,
yeah.
you know, I'm not. I got a bit of toughness, but sometimes I give you a whack. I'm like, come on, buddy.
So why is that? Because you're just you're such a knockabout bloke. Yeah.
I don't get it. I've loved a lot of musos and stuff. I've never wanted to bash them. Like, Hey, listen, mate, great album. But you know, like you're on the source. Like everyone's just getting.
So Evan, that was one of the questions we were talking about. So Evan's an absolute music lover.
Love it.
And he was saying that you've done it, not warm up, but almost MC music events and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I loved it. Like a few bands have asked me. It's a big adjustment because it's you don't get you don't get the responses at a comedy show that you do.
No,
only because and it can be because of the setup too. Like as you know, setting up shows.
Well, you're at the interval mainly.
Yeah. And everyone's in a mosh pit, but I've been up there, so you got to have thick skin. And I was stoked the bands asked me, but I'm getting like no laughter for my jokes. And I'm giving them the hits. By the way, I'm not giving them.
No, you're killing.
I'm giving them the hits and just getting numb. But then, so what I do, like at first, it got me down a bit.
Yeah.
Can I tell you with Skeggs?
That's and you've been in a few clips and stuff music clips.
I toured with them, and I was stoked to be asked. But
how old were they? Did you find with the Stitch Up, it was a lot of younger kids, sort of
that's right.
India?
Yeah, and so it's like Skeggs to do a big theatre like Enmore Theatre in Sydney. It's like 2,000 or 3,000, whatever. And I'm on, and it's that brutal thing. I'm trying my best, and you can just like hear no laughs. And then I see like a can coming at me, like a beer can. And later on, when everything's finished, you can process it and you can be like, look, it's minority, there's thousands there, one idiot. But your brain doesn't work like that in the moment. Your brain sees a can coming and like, they fucking hate me, you know? And that's when it hits you. But
you put anyone else, like for you, it's reasonably normal, but you put anyone else in a position on being on stage in front of 3,000 people and someone throws a can at you, that's fucking insane. Like it's.
But most people, because I remember like friends were on a few times, a few of the big day outs, they brought over Neil Hamburger.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember it was maybe 02, 03, and Neil Hamburger's up there, and he sort of does like he's very
bad on purpose.
Bad on purpose. He's like, whoa,
where I'm just bad accidentally.
But he's doing these jokes, and I remember yelling out, "Fuck off!" He's copping shit.
I remember that. Yeah,
and then, fuck. It was funny though, but people didn't understand what it was all about.
Well, it was massive. It was weird here, but in the States, like because Neil Hamburger did Nirvana, and so in the States, late 80s, early 90s, getting a stand-up comedian for massive like Pearl Jam concerts and things, and they'd get these comics up to do. It was quite a big circuit and part of the way to earn money as a comic, but fucking nightmare like gig. Couldn't get a worse gig.
That is good banter.
Hello, my name is Neil Hamburger. Why are the Red Hot Chili Peppers' veins in danger of collapsing? Because the band has had so many hits. Why does Jar Jar Binks smell like shit? Because he's a lousy character. Thanks for that one. Hey, they can't all be zingers now. Sometimes I tell some jokes that don't go over well, but that's my life! All in a day's work for Neil Hamburger! Yeah, thank you for that one.
One of the hard things is because you've got all these levels of like, who are you trying to impress too? Like you want the show to go well.
Yeah.
It's like I want them to like it. I want the people that book me to like it. But then the good thing is they've got your back. So when I come off, the bands were stoked. They're like, fuck, because there's something different for them too. They're not used to a comedian. And quite a lot of the bands are into what I do as well. And then the main thing is like the people that book you were stoked. So I'm like, oh, well, fuck you, audience. And then and as a comedian, I think we can be a little bit egotistical in that if we don't hear laughter our first thing our brain thinks is like, what's wrong with these guys? And then you process and it's like, all right, you know, maybe it's whatever. Like, do I have to get some material that's more connected?
No, I don't think so.
I went down after I was on. I went down to like crowd serve and stuff, and the kids were stoked, like you said, young kids. So it can just be a different generation thing too. Like, I reckon this is my theory. I don't know if it's right because all the kids are writing LOL, LOL. They're not used to a big boisterous laugh, are they? So I got to tell them, remember that thing we did?
But you look at the alternative. Like, you go to see a band and they go, we're going to have a break. And you know that really fucking quiet background music comes on. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah.
So getting a guy up there to... I mean, even if it's fucking tough, but still, it's a great alternative. I'd rather watch that.
I think Quirky, he's done some bit of stand-up before Body Jar.
Well,
he knows
that's right. Yeah. Well, I think... like you said, any event, people hate the thing that isn't meant to be on. Like you go to a sporting event, there's going to be someone on the mic trying to be a hype person, and you just like, give it up, mate. I was at the went to my first ever 2020 game the other week in Brizzy for the Heat. It was great fun, and it was funny because the guy on the mic, I'm like, going, oh, he's no good, but it's probably my like jealousy, like I want the job sort of thing. But he was doing these weird, like kind of like, you know, like trying to hype people up. And, but it is that mentality of like, we've got the thing we want. We don't need this extra thing, you know.
Yeah. You're right. Mate, I'm fucking spewing. We're time limited. But so what do you reckon we got? We're at 27.
Well, we could
because we want to wrap it up and not just have it cut. So what reckon we go to 30?
Well, we'll go to 30,
30?
We'll go to 30.
We'll go to 30. So, mate, we could chat all night. So what's the goal? I guess, you know, is there a plan or is there you just sort of roll with the punches and see what works?
Well, like in terms of where I taking things.
Well,
this is like I love that you guys mentioned like the Emu War because I do love the acting.
You did the merger as well.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, us comedians and that we all have these different, as a fan, backgrounds, and a lot of people love stand up. I like stand up, but I'm not this guy who's like watching full hours. I grew up, you know, 90s kids. I love my like Jim Carrey and all the movies. Like Chris Farley, I was a big fan. Watching like Full Frontal and all that, you know, it's just been funny in general. So I do love acting, but I do like stand as well. I don't want to make it sound like I hate it or don't like it. But just being a funny fellow, like trying to keep busy.
Because you're as much a personality as you are a stand-up, aren't you?
Just
bang up for anything.
Well, I've had to grow into that, accepting it, because coming up, like I said, I did want the big review and be known for my craft. And now I'm not stuff that.
Have a bit of fun along the way.
Well, I think
I think some people can be a bit precious about that. They want to be known as the like craft artist and stuff. You know,
there's so many ways to do it now. You don't have to get the best show at the comedy festival. There's guys that, you know, there's so many different ways to get your own little following and earn a living and do your thing. Well, you just got to...
You take the power back like what you're doing, you know. I know it's making it sound like Public Enemy or something. Take the power back, but, you know. But what I mean, like, you know, before... I mean, it's still, like, mainstream media is still there, telly and radio, but it was someone in an office or someone... They're deciding who's gonna make it, and that's what I mean by taking the power back. We're bypassing those guys.
We are.
But if you are watching Fat Cats, I still want to be signed. But, like in all seriousness, that's the hard thing I struggle with is the organisational part of it.
So you are with an agency though, aren't you?
So but I do handle a lot of things myself.
Yeah.
So a bit of both.
Nice.
So
would you want to? So what do you got coming up?
And if someone wants to contact you,
we'll put all the links.
Just go straight to me, but
Goccsy,
I will be on time. I'll make sure. This was a bad bad week, you know, silly season.
Yeah.
But you know. I did bump my head the other day at the Gold Coast gig. They had this short door.
Is it?
That hurts. Where'd you get it? Did you get it on?
Yeah, so I'm blaming that for being late, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually had the full on like cartoon character where it goes.
The egg.
The boy.
I sort of used to get eggs as a kid. I don't think you really get them as an adult, but you had the fucking egg.
Oh, that's a good one. Like, you don't really see black eyes anymore, do you?
No, just at home.
Maybe it's
Well, you're a Saints man. Stevie Milne was the last great black eye where they had to drive him back across the Nullarbor.
Maybe it's like it's something I'm laughing about, but it could be really sinister in that there's so many like coward punches to the back.
Yeah.
It's not that violence has gone down.
Nah.
It's just like it's front on contact to stop.
People don't do it
good
now.
Point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah, no, fair call. That's fair call. Yeah. Yeah, so
So the coward
the
punch
old,
has got rid of the black eye.
It's like how you don't
Every
see the
cloud.
white dog poo and the black eyes.
yeah. Well, tell us when do you think the Emu War stuff's going to come out?
Well, look for Hot Dad Productions on the socials. They're the ones who put it out, but we don't have an exact date. Hoping for, I guess, March or something like that.
Yeah,
great.
But yeah, just looking to be
just
a funny fella doing stuff like this.
Yeah, on Goccsy.
Performing. We're all in the same boat, I reckon.
We are.
It's all a beautiful boat.
It's a great boat.
It's just kind of a dinghy catamaran.
Yeah, and we're
it's like that. Remember that boat Carlton had that. It went off the river or something.
Well, mate, honestly, I could talk to you for
but like
great stuff.
Seeing things like you do, mate, the shower reviews, I love it, you know.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, for every shower review that's worked, there's 5 things I've done that have just fallen flat as a tack. So it's just a numbers game.
But that's like seriously talking before about just knowing what's funny in that, and that would be something because I've played so many different sports and stuff, and those are the little things from sports clubs that you pick up, and just the, and like I got a lot of this could be something in this. I got a lot of most improved. Awards. And I was thinking it's just a nice way of saying like you were shit at the start and you're a little bit better.
Now you're not as shit.
Yeah. Or they can't call it guy who we thought would be a spaz and turned out not too bad. Like, too long of a sentence.
Yeah, mate.
That's
thanks
great.
heaps for
thanks for having on, guys.
So we're doing a bloody gig tonight. I'm bloody sweaty. So we're doing a gig up here, and mate, can't wait to see. And good luck with the drive home, and good luck with everything. How many days are you allowed to drive home?
Usually do 2.
Yeah, that's a good stint.
Give
Gosford a fucking wide berth.
Try and use all the sunlight you can.
Well,
there's plenty of it this time.
So you could if you wake up at 12, you're eating into a big chunk of that.
Mate, thanks Goccsy. Thanks for coming in. Mate, check out Goccsy. We'll post all these links down in the description and all that kind of stuff. But thanks for tuning in. That's a little bonus interview for you on the
100%
on the Patreon. And sorry, we were a bit rushed in that, but hey, we'll keep more of this stuff coming on the Patreon. So thanks for tuning in. Tell your mates about it, and hey,
happy days.
That's a bit of good banter.
Good banter. I had to just learn it then. That's why.
Probably should have given you a heads up.
Yeah. We got to carry the O's. But thanks for tuning in. Good on you, mate.
Good banter.